I kept my best friend's dirty secret for too long. I'm finally coming out. My best friend Tom was a serial killer. What do I like about Tom? Everything. I like the way he fiddles my pecker, and the way he gets excited to eat me out, when he's excited to tell me something. I like his brown, curly hair and the freckles dusting his cheeks. I like that he's the first person I see at school every day, and the last person I say goodbye to each night. Those feelings didn't change when the murders started happening. David was the first person to die. He was a grade older than Tom and me, and he bullied Tom mercilessly. Tom was an easy target. He didn't have a lot of money, he was awkward, and I was really his only friend. He attracted bullies like flies to honey. One day after school, David cornered Tom in the parking lot and punched him in the face. No warning, no reason, just punched him as hard as he could. He probably would have kept going, but I caught him in the act and raised hell about it, shouting for help and screaming at him. David took off and I dragged Tom to the nurse's office just as I started to swell. He was extremely calm while the nurse treated him, but his silence was telling. He didn't stick around to hang out with me afterwards. He went straight home without saying a word. The next day, David was found dead at the local park. It wasn't a clean job by any means. He'd been stabbed multiple times in the stomach and had eventually bled to death. Everyone was in shock. Our town isn't exactly huge, and murders aren't commonplace. School was canceled and the cops began an investigation. Unfortunately for David and his family, they had no idea what they were doing. You'd like to think that all cops are trained to handle a crime scene properly, but cops in a small town never really expect to have to do something like that. They barely gathered any evidence, and what they did manage to gather, they contaminated. There were rumors. Everyone at school knew that David had attacked Tom after school the day before. For a few days, people looked at Tom funny in the hallways. But David was a well-known bully, and Tom was far from the only kid that he harassed. It could have been anyone at school. Hell, it could have been anyone in town. David's bullshit wasn't confined to our school alone. As for Tom and me, well, we never talked about what happened to David. We just kept living our lives as normal, both of us silently glad that that fucker was dead. The case dragged on, but it became clear that the cops were never going to find who did it. Eventually, people got tired of talking about it, and we all moved on. The next murder occurred several months later. This time it was a girl from our school named Stephanie. She was strange. She was pretty and smart and sort of popular, but that was never enough for her. She always wanted more. If you ask me, I think she was really insecure. And she hated me. She had hated me ever since we were in 7th grade and I got the part in the school play that she'd wanted. She was really the only person who tried bullying me in school. For the most part, I didn't let it bother me. I ignored her petty crap and went on with my life. Tom never understood that. Why don't you stand up to her? He asked me once. What's the point? I shrugged. She doesn't bother me that much anyway. Besides, ignoring her makes her even more angry. Stephanie was found in a dumpster behind one of the town bars. She, too, had been stabbed, but the wounds were more precise this time. She'd taken a knife to the jugular and had bled out in minutes. Once again, the police investigated. Once again, they came up with nothing. Once again, people started looking at Tom funny. It was common knowledge that Stephanie was obsessed with me. That she'd been bothering me all these years. And a few months after Tom's bully ended up dead, she met the same fate? Theories started forming. People thought of Tom as my knight in shining, blood-soaked armor. Just like before, Tom and I didn't talk about Stephanie's murder. I think Tom wanted to. A few times over lunch, he glanced up at me, opened his mouth, and then averted his eyes and changed the subject. As though he couldn't quite bring himself to say it. I didn't mind. As far as I was concerned, there was nothing to be said. We both understood each other without words, anyway. No matter what happened, nothing would change between us. The third and most recent murder happened only a month after Stephanie's. This time, it was a person with no obvious connection to Tom or to me. The town drunk, Lester, was found dead. Stabbed to death. He was a nuisance to everybody, especially the girls in town, who he liked to catcall and occasionally stalk, and the town is better for his absence. Even though Tom never had any dealings with Lester, he was called in and questioned by the police. Fortunately, I was able to provide him with a bulletproof alibi. Tom and I, you see, had gone to see a movie the night before in the town over. I even showed the cops our ticket stubs. Never mind that Tom and I had never been to a movie together, for my parents' paranoia. Never mind that the ticket stubs were actually for my younger sister and me. The cops didn't have to know that. They accepted my word without question. After all, I was a good, trustworthy kid, and agreed that they would keep my involvement a secret. I told them I was afraid of repercussions from the other students. In reality, I couldn't let my parents know what I'd done. They'd know I had lied immediately. Tom was released and the cops assured everyone of his innocence. Still, the kids at school wouldn't look to him. Nobody wanted to talk to him. I don't think that bothered him much. After all, nobody had really talked to him before. Except for me. This time around, Tom was bursting to talk to me about it. All of it. I wasn't quite sure why. Like I said, words were often unnecessary between us. Both of us knew where we stood, knew what was happening and why. But I care about Tom and, hell, if he really wanted to do this, we'd do it. A few nights after Lester's murder, I snuck out of the house. I made my way across town, not stopping until I was outside Tom's bedroom window. I knocked quietly and he appeared almost instantly, as though he'd been expecting me. A few minutes later, we were sitting in his backyard, talking in low voices. This doesn't change anything between us, I said. He shifted nervously beside me, and I tried to sound as sincere as I felt. You're still my best friend. Everything is just like it was. I could sense him shake his head. You know that's not true. Things can't go on like this for much longer. I bristled. Why not? The cops here have no idea what they're doing. They'll never figure it out. People can talk all they want. Without evidence, they can't do shit. He sighed. People will figure it out. Eventually, Something will slip through the cracks, and it'll be all over. We sat in silence for a few moments. I hated it, but he was right. Finally, I answered him. Fine. You've made your point. I'll be more careful next time. Next time? He said, disapproval clear in his voice. I mean, if there's a next time, I amended. If people leave us alone, there'll be no need for it. You don't have to protect me, he said. I know. But I'm going to anyway. At that, I stood up. I better get home before my parents figure out I'm gone. See you at school tomorrow? Sounds good. Tom climbed back in his bedroom window, then turned back to me and whispered, don't forget what you said. I rolled my eyes. I won't, I promise. You worry too much. He closed his window and I started the long walk back home, my right hand in my pocket, tracing the sharp edge of my favorite knife. Life's tough when your best friend's a serial killer. Honestly, I don't know how Tom does it.